the background. Like,
Ruly bunch.
how you guys doing? Martin Lopez here with the Curiosity Theory, and I got three. I'm just going to bring them on because you know what? I've got so much stuff I can say and talk about meditation, blah, 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 and do all that. But we're having so much fun in the back, so let's just bring them in. Hi, guys. How you doing?
Hey. You just got lonely. You missed us out there by yourself.
That was quick.
And you knew we were going to talk about you while you weren't in the back in the green room.
I have notes. I have like all these notes and stuff I was going to talk about. So but heck, let's put that aside.
Okay, now that we're here, say what you want to say because we'll just be here with you and support you.
Well, let's just dive into it. Let's dive into it. So tonight's class is about meditation, and I've been wanting to do a class about meditation. I got a lot of direct messages from people all over, like literally all over the United States, and some people all over the world. Hey, can I come on? Can I come on? And I'd love to have everybody on, but at this point, let's just vibe on it together. And I've learned meditation from all of you guys. I'm learning from Meshell because she does her class every morning at 8:30. So watch that. 8, okay. And then Danny, I just know you, and we talk. We just we deep talk all the time. And
my condolences.
Yeah. And then Clay actually took a class with Clay for quite some time, for about a year, and I was in his conscious flow control. And I learned a lot about meditation, and like I had a bunch of notes and stuff I want to talk about, but let's just talk about like, why do you guys meditate? So how did you find meditation and why do you meditate? Let's start with Danny.
Wow, you went right at me.
Yeah, like boom.
Boom, boom, right in, jump right in. I think I've been meditating now every day for 45 years.
Wow.
And so that's a long time. And some of those days have been 10, 15 minutes. But some of them when I was in the monastery were 12, 14, 18 hours a day. And I think I just got bit by the snake. You know, when you get the bite of the snake and the venom is going through your body. And this is good venom. This isn't venom.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. This is the Kundalini snake. The snake that goes up your spine. When you feel so completely connected to yourself, one of the things that I realized in the world that I live in is so few people have a connection to who they are. And when you have that connection to who you are, there's nothing in the world that tastes as sweet as that. And so I spent 10 years as a monk in a monastery because that just intoxicated me so much. And so I think the reason I meditate is because when you find something that just is as good as you can get, why would you ever leave that?
It's cool. Meshell.
I feel like I'm in a trance right now.
No kidding, man.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Just got bit by a snake.
I'm just like, let's just meditate and show them. We'll just sit here quietly and meditate for the hour, and then we'll.
Hold it. Why do you feel like you're in a trance?
You're.
Well, what you were saying was very trance-like, actually. You know, you were really weaving a spell almost of the quality, of the experience, and yeah. So I just went deep with you there.
Yeah.
I am challenged. This will be good to see what I say, to tell you quite honestly, because I don't talk about it as much as I just do it. And the other thing that's important for me to say is that my meditation is a combination of breath work and meditation. And breath work is my bigger passion, like my biggest passion is breath work. But breath work is really like the piece that is the breath, which is like the Kundalini yoga practice that will be a part of the meditation, where we'll do some like breath of fire or something that really causes a shift internally. I feel like it just sets me up perfectly to be able to sit in that quiet space. It feels like the breath part kind of clears away all the mental clouds and fog and density. And then when I just sit and really occupy my body and occupy the moment, it just feels so spacious and full. And I feel super content. And
So,
when my mind is quiet like that, when it's still like that, I feel like I have access to how deep a moment in time is, like that it just goes super deep and super wide. And I feel like I'm kind of tasting infinity, like what infinity is. And then it starts to move into this kind of spiritual experience, which I can't say that I'm going for a spiritual experience, but I am going for that feeling of, I guess it's the contentment.
So you do it for the contentment. You do it for the place that you end up in.
And the combination of the Kundalini yoga and the breath work and the quiet sitting, all of it together, also feels like it's brightening me, that it's brightening my mind. And that whole way that I'm saying that it sort of clears the muddle and the fog, I feel like the sky opens up and I feel brighter and clearer and more resourceful.
That's cool. Well, there's Clay. Clay, how did you get into meditation?
Yes, I too was sucked into Danny's trance, Meshell. You have
I want to know why. What
soothing...
is? Okay,
We'll answer that in a minute.
Okay.
Here's the answer.
Okay,
here's the answer. When you tap into that feeling that you were describing, you go deep into you and you connect, and you like the way we were talking before was one thing. Then all of a sudden, click, here's this peaceful, calm, methodical, it's a very calming tone. Let me close a window. I was trying to share. Martine, it's not going to happen until after. That might make things go a little faster and better. So anyway, the reason I got into meditation is a lot.
By the way, thank you to both of you. I think you said something nice about this. Thank you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hey, what? It was a compliment. I thought so. I'm very excited to learn a lot in this call. The reason I got into meditation and what I use meditation for is very, very, very simple. I was a nuclear reactor operator. I knew subatomic, so I knew subatomic quantum chaos theory, physics, all that deep. I did electronics. I did electromechanical systems. I was an engineer for 15 years making computer chips. And I tried to build a business that whole time. And I kept failing and kept failing and kept failing and kept failing. And I knew I needed to meditate. I know I should meditate. I know that all the wise people, all the leaders were telling me to meditate. And I never could understand why or how. I had a very exciting teacher that gave me this bracelet and led me into understanding one type of meditation, just one practice that cracked my head open and opened my eyes. And the motorcycle that I mentioned earlier, that Martine mentioned, I had another incident where I hit a deer going 85 miles an hour and I did not crash. I kept the motorcycle up, read a book 2 days later called The Rise of Superman that talked about the power of the mind. That happened about the same time as the meditation experience. All of a sudden the world opened up and I help people perform better by using meditation. Make more money, get more time. It's very, I'm trying to think of there's a word. It's not, there is a spiritual aspect to meditation and you cannot escape that, and you will find it, and you will find those things that you guys described. But the reason I meditate is awareness and helping people grow, profit, and time.
It's cool. We all come from a different place. For me, I was 19 years old when I discovered meditation. I had just completed the landmark, what was called the Forum back then. And I was just thinking differently. I just realized that all of a sudden at 19 years old, I was just thinking differently than I had been raised. Like all my thinking was shifted. And one of the people that I met up in Newport Beach, where I took the program, was a yoga instructor, and she told me, "Do you meditate?" And I like, "What does that mean?" And I asked her, and she told me what it was, and she showed me how to meditate. And 2 weeks after I did the forum, after I did that class, I was sitting on a couch in my apartment all by myself, and I just sat quiet, and I just went to a different place. I was in a whole different world and had a whole different possibility. And since at that point, at 19 years old, I was trying to figure out a different way and a different path for my life. That seemed to be the way. So I meditated for probably about 10 years, at least 2 or 3 times a day, 2 or 3 times a week, and then took a lot of time off from that. And for about the last, I'd say about 4 or 5 years, I've been meditating pretty regularly. And now I meditate every day. I don't think I've missed a day of meditation in probably 2 or 3 years.
Cool.
Yeah. But I think a lot of people, they talk about meditation as though there's a right way to do it. And, we talk about Clay. He does it. He teaches people how to do it. That's what I think you're saying, is that to help them make money and be more effective. I wanted to meditate because I wanted to teach my brain a different possibility. And Meshell's talking about how it just makes her feel the way it makes her feel. And Danny, you were talking about, you started it in a monastery. You didn't start in a monastery, how you had done it. And I think a lot of people don't start to meditate because of what they think it's about is not really what it's about. What do you think
people think it's about?
Well, I think that what I've noticed is that people think it's about, it's about like religion, or it's about, it's about being being Middle Eastern or something, like it's like, I got to be Hindu or something, but I'm Catholic, or I'm Christian, or I'm, and it's like, well, that's kind of against my religion. And it's like, and so then people say, well, I don't meditate, I pray. And so I wonder, like, what's the difference? What's the difference?
That's why I go, like I said, the spirituality and the connection. I've been there. I love it. I'm eager to do something much shorter than what Danny did. With 10 years, you said. Well, I'm eager to do 10 days, but that's Martine. That's why I do it the way I do it. That's why I start with performance. Like I'm trying to help businesses make more money, or I'm helping executives be better managers, or men be better husbands, or women have a better balanced life. And I give them this tool of meditation as a tool. It's not a spiritual pursuit necessarily. It's not, or at least at first, it's not a path to the thing that it really is.
So if you're giving somebody meditation, what are you giving them? Like if you're introducing somebody to meditation, like from each one of us, I think we come from a different place. So if you were, do you introduce people to meditation, Danny? Do you say, hey, try this? Okay. So what is it you're introducing people when you're introducing people to meditation?
I see I love this conversation, first of all, because I love how many different perspectives there are, and how people come to the same thing in different ways and call it different names. In India, they tell the story of a man of 8 blind men who were given the task of defining what an elephant was. And probably most of you have heard the story, but one went to the ears, trunk, legs,
got the tail.
All of them, right. All of them gave a different thing. And that's really what you're asking here. And we're all just blind men talking about the different part that we see. For me, my biggest sadness, and I can see it in the people that as soon as I see somebody, I see it. I see people just disconnected from themselves. I see people chasing, if you were a baby, I see people chasing the toys and the pacifier and not the breast. And why would you not take the milk of the breast and be happy with a pacifier? If your mom can give you the pacifier and you're going to be happy and you're going to be quiet, she'll just keep giving you the pacifier. And to me, that's what all the toys are that go along with meditation. But there's something deeper to that. There's something that fulfills you from inside, because it isn't religious, it isn't spiritual. It's the process of actually getting to know yourself. How many people do you think live in the moment? Very few, right?
Yeah.
Most
And
of
of those
us,
people, how often are they living in the moment?
yeah, I can tell you from my own case, none, very little. Okay. Most of us think about the past. Most of us think about our future. Most of us think about what are the toys we can acquire to get ourselves more successful or better or happier, or what tricks can we do to feel more something. The breath instantly brings us into the present. When we inhale and exhale and just watch that process of inhalation and exhalation and stay with it without trying to control it, but simply just watching your breath come in your nose and go out your nose. There could be no simpler process than that. And if we would only just do that one thing, for those people listening, why don't you just do this with me right now? Why don't we close our eyes and take the deep breath your length, because my breath will be deeper or less deep. Take 3 deep inhalations and 3 deep exhalations. Start now.
I think that's 33 you did.
Okay, so I'm still at 2. I was still just finishing my second breath.
You're doing 2, Clay, too?
Clay also did 2. So
Advanced yogis
the
over
question
here.
is, so forget about the egoic practice of how many breaths we took or didn't take. What did you feel as you were breathing? Did you have any idea of a sensation of the air entering into the nose? Was it warm or was it cold?
Please comment about that. Answer that question.
Great. Did it have a smell? Did you notice, is your inhalation longer than your exhalation? Were they the same length? Was there where were you breathing to? Was your breath going to your chest or to your gut or to your belly or all the way down to your legs? Where did your breath occupy? Did your breath fill you up as you inhaled and close you down as you exhaled? What did you notice in the process of your breath? The most beautiful thing in the world is our breath. It's so current right now, right? George Floyd with a knee on his neck said, "I can't breathe." And if you heard the eulogy given by the Reverend Al Sharpton today, he said, God is the one that gave us the breath. He can put the breath in. We can't put the breath in, but we can put the breath in our own body. Breath is our life. And the quality of our life is determined by the breath that we breathe. How are we breathing? We give it over to our unconscious mind because we're too busy to watch our breath.
Mm-hmm.
So most of us breathe a shallow, shallow breath. The result of a shallow breath is we don't let very much in and we don't give very much out. Some people would call that a shallow life, right? But when you can bring the fullness of the world into your being and you can exhale the fullness of yourself out of your being, what happens is you experience a world that is totally different than the one you ever saw before. Not because you want to be more successful. Pardon me, Clay, I don't mean to ride on you. Not because we want to be more successful or because we want to achieve more or because we want to do that. Because by the very nature of being ourselves and walking in our strength, all those things will come to us. The Bible says, seek you first the kingdom of God and all these things will be added unto you. But it doesn't say seek ye first of good business and then all the things will be added to you, right? It says when you have that presence inside yourself, when you know that connection to who you are, you're unstoppable.
So let's talk about that. Let's go back there. So how about let's address that. So when you were taking your breaths, you got 2 breaths, Clay, and me and Meshell probably did like 10 or so. But what were you present to, Clay? What do you get present to when you do that?
Step 1, like Danny said, I feel somewhere in the front of my sinuses the breath. Then I can feel it in the back of my throat. Then I feel it and I focus on my stomach and my tummy expanding, and I try to blow a balloon up as big as I can. I can feel my groin area and my sacral area and my belly and my back and my ribs as I slowly bring the breath in and fill myself up. Since I'm standing, I was hyper aware of my knees, not locking them. And I was very aware of my bare feet standing on the floor and the textures that are under my feet. And that was the first breath. That was the first inhale. Like Danny said, and actually Meshell, I think, said it better, said it more clearly.
No, she said it better than way better than Danny.
Wait. No, the word. There was a word. The reason I'm saying that is there was a word she said. There's a word that she said. She used the word infinity. And Danny's describing it. Meshell used the word infinity. And there it was in one breath. And I felt so many different things. And that was just the inhale. Yeah. I often find when trying to share with people the breath and getting in touch with their body, and a big impediment to meditation that people find is, or the thing that they always say is, I can't stop my mind. I can't stop thinking about things. Things keep coming up. So and that happened to me during my breaths. And what I've learned to do is, there's that thought. Instead of chasing the thought, see the thought, and then ask myself, how do I feel about that thought? Where do I feel that thought? I go into my body saying like, oh, it's the bills, it's my girlfriend, it's my parents, it's whatever I'm worrying about, George Floyd, freaking taxes, the government, coronavirus, I mean, there's all this stuff, but connecting that to the body.
So it's all coming together. It's all coming together like at one time for you.
No. I'm saying whatever the thought is, like, we can't stop our brain from producing thoughts.
Yeah.
As experienced as Danny is, I'm sure you'll admit, Danny, you may be focusing on something, but eventually, and it's probably a longer time than most of us on this call, but eventually something tries to distract you from inside.
So let me respond very quickly. No matter what we do, we fall down. But then we just get back up again. So the trick to me in the process of the breath is not to allow it to take us down the rabbit hole. We just have whatever period of time we're doing for this meditation, whether that's 2 hours, 1 hour, 10 minutes, 18 hours, it doesn't matter. We dedicate, I think, Martine, you said something in the green room about how much time you dedicate to your meditation. And we want to hear that. But I dedicate that amount of time to this process. And in that process, what I do is I say, I love you, thoughts. I really do. You can come to me anytime you want.
That's cool.
Okay. But in this period of time, I want to focus on my breath. And so as soon as I find myself thinking my thoughts, I gently say, hey, come on back, Barley. Come on back and just inhale, exhale. Can't be simpler. And the more that you do, for me, the more I found that I practice breath and thought is connected. When my breath is restless, my mind is restless. When my breath is calm, my mind is calm. And the more that I practice the practice of staying with the practice, the more my mind calms down. Different ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's one's not better than the other ones. This is just what I do. And
You're going to have your own personal experience. I think that's the thing, is you're going to have your own personal experience. I'm just going to say mine, and I'm going to ask Meshell. So what happens for me when I go meditate, I go, oh, it's kind of like I go, oh, there you are. It's kind of like that's what happens to me. It's like, oh, there you are. It's like very, very subtle. Like oh, there you are. Oh. And I just find myself again. I find myself. And then everything just stops and slows down. And then, like you said, I when you were talking about what thoughts come in, it's not that I don't have like distractions. It's that what it is that those distractions happen fewer times. They just happen fewer times. And then when I'm out in the world, those distractions happen fewer times. Like I do this show every Tuesday at 7:00. If I didn't meditate, there's no way this ADD brain would be able to pull off four of us showing up at 7:00. It would just be, there's no way that the email would have went out. There's no way that the text messages went out to you guys. That just wouldn't have happened. But because I meditate, I can spend a moment and dedicate to that process over and over and over and over. And it becomes like chopping wood and carrying water. It's just a simple, mundane, unsexy thing to do. And I don't have to chase sexy. I don't have to chase excitement anymore. For me, the mundane becomes more sexy. Go ahead, Meshell.
I was just thinking, for a while, I kept pondering this word practice, because I know practice is used as this is our practice. This is the practice. We're going to sit in practice. And I'd find myself saying it, wondering, what does that really mean? And I really pondered that, I'd say, maybe a couple of weeks. I kept kind of tripping on that word because I recognized that I didn't really know what it meant to me. But then, so first of all, thank you for the breath, Danny, and the practice of sitting every morning, as I've done, and I've had a very strong relationship with meditation, and then I'm off it for a little while, and then I have a strong relationship with it, and then I'm off it for a little while. So I'm a little more erratic. But as soon as lockdown showed up, I said, I need this. This is for me. I need something steady. I need to be proactive. I need something that will stabilize my moods and my mind. And I went public with that I'm going to do it every morning, so that I had to. And like I'm going to go live on Facebook. I'm going to sit here with anybody else is here, and now I'm dedicated. It's visible. I'm accountable. I'm obligated, and I needed all of that so that I would sit and do it every day, as I have now for 4 months.
Yeah. So how does meditation help meditation then? That's kind of like the thing, because so you say I'm gonna keep my word. I'm gonna have integrity in what I say I'm going to do. How does the meditation support the meditation?
Well, I'm going to put that over here, and just I want to kind of follow the thread of the practice. What it causes, I feel like, when there's game that keep following the same trail, eventually the brush gets pushed away and there's an open trail.
Yeah.
And then it's really easy to find the trail because it's been used enough that you don't have to get the machete out and kind of hack your way through.
Yeah.
That's what the practice is. So that when Danny says, let's just take 3 breaths, it's like I can find the trail immediately. And I agree with you, Martine. Yeah. It feels like I'm back to me in any way that I may have, moved outside of myself a bit and got kind of focused on the things outside of me and the people outside of me and the stuff in that moment. And it's swift when I'm practicing more often, when I guess in a way I'm now answering the question.
No, you're fine. No, actually, I think it makes a lot of sense.
It's like one breath and I'm back. I'm like out of what distracted, chaos, like the tumultuousness of life, and I'm steady again. I'm stable. I know myself. I know who I am. I know what I am. And my needs are super minimal. It's just like, that's the contentment piece. It's like, it's really about presence. That's why I don't really like I don't like to call it a spiritual thing. Although I agree with you, Clay, it's kind of impossible to not go there. But presence is what I'm really in reverence of, because that's where everything is contained.
Yeah. Like Clay said, when you feel, all of a sudden he's saying, I feel going through my nose. I feel it in my belly. I feel, and that's presence. Like people don't stop. Like Danny was saying, people don't stop. I don't think he said that, but that's what I'm saying. He said, so, people don't stop and smell the roses. Forget that. Just smell yourself. Just smell what's in here. Just be present to what's in yourself.
Yeah, and the moment. It's like,
yeah.
So I'd like to shift it a little bit if I can.
Absolutely.
Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the things that I found in myself through the course of the years is how hard I am on myself. If you even notice, I don't know if you can see, but I have a little bracelet that says, "Be kind to you." And it's just a practice. Can you not hear me?
What it is? No, your mouth.
It says, be kind to you.
It says, "Be kind to you." And what it is it's a 21 consecutive day practice where as soon as I find myself not being kind to myself, I take it off this wrist and put it on that side, and I start over. And it took me 9 months to get to 21 days.
Wow.
Consecutive days. It took me probably 3.5 months to get past day one. So what I'm noticing, and even in this discussion, is something that used to bring me a lot of angst when I sat to meditate, because I thought I should be doing something. I should do it this way. I thought these things were bad and this practice was good. I thought I have to get away from doing this, but I want to do this. And I started to ask myself, in a world that I believe in, where everything is connected and we are all intertwined, bad and good don't exist really. They just exist in the duality of the world that we live in. So if there is no bad or good, then how is my thoughts bad and my present and my peace good? Why don't I just think that it's all good? It's just leading me back to where I want to be, which is, it's just the process of walking one step after another to get to where I'm going. And so what would happen for us in our practice if we didn't have to stop doing something? We just allowed it to do what it did. And then when we notice that we don't feel comfortable in that place anymore, we just change what we're doing. The reason I stop thinking thoughts is because I feel more comfortable when I'm empty. Like my experience of meditation is so different than what was described before by Meshell and by everybody, because my experience is what it does is it doesn't fill me up. It actually empties me out. And when there's nobody home anymore, all that's home is this presence that then comes through me. And so it's just another way of looking at it that I just wanted to bring, that what would happen if we're in the process of just emptying the trash from within ourselves. And if you, like, I have this book behind me, I don't even know which way it is because I've got this green screen. Okay, it's over.
Use your left hand.
Okay.
See, I thought I was pointing at mine.
You can't point to it. That's what I was thinking, but it's wrong.
I think it's over here.
There.
I can't even get to it.
Point to where it's not.
I'm doing what you told me to do. It's not there, right?
Well, mine's just not there.
Yeah, I got you. You did a great job. But what I do in the book is I talk about different characters. And one of the characters that's so essential to me is the trash man. Because he just comes every week. And he just comes every week and he takes all the stuff that I no longer want. and I put it in the trash and he takes it away. Well, why not use that process in our process of meditation? Why not just hold the container in the process of meditation? And when we find something that isn't bringing us peace for the minute, just take it and put it in this little trash can. And it'll be there for you when you come back. In India, we take off our shoes before we go into a house. And we say, why don't we leave with our shoes all of our thoughts and of all of our problems and all of our troubles? When we come out of the house, they'll be all right there. We'll put our shoes
They'll be there.
And we can have all our troubles right back. But for this little piece of time, why don't we just have the peace of being in this house without that? So
I love that. Yeah.
I would just like to invite people to not schism it, not to separate it so much, not to think this is good, this is bad, this is what, right? And just
because you're starting to judge. Now you create judgment. So then and when you meditate, there is no judgment. There's just you. That's what I find, at least.
I definitely had that idea, when I was first encountering meditation, and this idea that I was trying to find the space in between thoughts. And then when I'd catch myself thinking, it would be kind of like this frustration, trying to edge them out so I can get back to that space between. And, it's funny talking about this now, I kind of remember having that. And I imagine that that's something that occurs for people as they're trying to take on meditation. It's like something that you're trying to do and do correctly or do right in that way. And that then there's all this frustration that you can't get it right or do it right or blah, 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 And I'm happy to say that I have not thought that thought in so long. I'm enjoying having the memory of that, but now it's just like, sit on the mat and join the moment. And the moment it's always something. It's not empty. I mean, the moment isn't empty. I experience the moment as being actually quite full, but I definitely have that experience of me being empty, maybe, but I'll also be like overwhelmed by beauty. And maybe it's the sound of a bird outside my door, but it's like to the point where I could cry. And there's lots of times when the birds are cooing out there and I'm not really available, to be so deeply moved by the simplest piece of existence.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only piece. It's really the only piece.
ACE.
Infinity. I keep coming back to infinity.
How so?
Yeah. Well, there literally is an infinite number of ways to meditate. There's no right, there's no wrong. I wrote it in a chat, and I don't know if it got to the chat or not, to agree with Danny. There is no good, there is no bad, there just is, and how we relate to it. And in that breath is when you get to decide how you relate to it. So I love how there's such diversity. Figure out, everybody listening right now, everybody watching right now, if you have a reason to meditate, you want to find that peace that Danny is making us all feel, right? If you want to be full of the beauty like Meshell was talking about, or if you're freaking pissed off and frustrated because you can't make $1 when you're trying to build your business or whatever motivation it is that takes you down the path, the number one habit, meditation. And Meshell, the word practice, you kept talking about it, and I thought you were going somewhere with it.
Me too.
Well,
I mean,
so basically where I was going with it is the practice is like carving away what, is that trail metaphor. The practice is having beat away the bush, the brush.
That's what the practice does.
Cut it away. The practice kind of opens the path, and another way of saying is it sort of develops the muscle that allows me to immediately find that trail again. So I'm sort of practicing presence, and then one breath, and I can be back to present again if I've been all distracted.
The metaphor you were giving was frankly horrifying me. It was making me feel like I was going to have to go into the jungle and practice blazing a trail. So I love what you just said. You know, the practice is one breath.
Yeah.
So the words I use.
The practice is one
words
breath.
I use.
People got to understand that. The practice, guys. The practice is one breath. Like it's not 2 hours. It's not 10 days. It's one breath.
It's not 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's this breath. The way that I use words, I used to teach Intel engineers. So the company Intel, they worked for Intel and some other big highfalutin companies, and these guys were really, really smart. So I had to be really careful with the words I used. So I've honed some words, and I teach and I share with people the way to approach this, to get rid of those shouldn'ts all over you. When you should all over yourself, get rid of the should by the thing to focus on is growing a meditation practice. Meditation itself is infinite. There's an infinite number of ways to do it. There's an infinite number of ways to explore it. Grow it means you're not struggling to attain 100 hours or 10 minutes or whatever. Just grow it. That can actually mean shorter time. And practice, like you were saying, is you're never going to be done practicing. It's a practice. So I love the word practice. But yeah, grow your meditation practice, please.
So what are different ways you can practice meditation? Just as idea, what are different ways that you know that?
Touch your nose. Just, what do you feel? Breathe. What do you feel?
There you go. How about prayer? How does prayer show up in meditation?
So for me, prayer is the process of talking to God. Meditation is the practice of listening to God.
Very cool.
And all too often in the West, we talk and talk and talk, but we don't take much time to listen.
I love that. And, so two things that come to mind for me is I will say a lot of times, inhabit your body, like really bring your attention to inhabiting your body. Imagine that you are liquid and that you are pouring yourself completely into your body. And I'm a very kinesthetic person, so those kinds of metaphors really work for me. But also, the body doesn't know how to be in the past or the future. And for me, this is very much a presence practice. So it gets me more present immediately. And then another thing that we'll do, and I'm always using some sort of breath, and the breath is like plant medicine as far as I'm concerned. It's like a couple of 3 rounds of like Wim Hof style circular breathing. And I don't really have any thoughts. I don't have to battle with them. They're just gone, it's just clear, open space. I feel so open and so clear. But another thing that I'll do, I just want to say this one thing, and then I'll just say, let's just listen. Just like listen to the sounds in your environment. And it feels like it's just enough of a little project for the mind to do. Just like listen. Don't get attached to anything. Just listen. Is it a bird? Is it a fan? Is it voices? And the listening immediately starts to cause this deepening of my presence. What were you going to say, Clay?
Have you read any of Stephen Kotler's work? So
No.
I'm about to connect a lot of stuff. Danny, have you read Kotler's stuff?
Yes.
Can you talk just a little louder, Clay?
Just
Danny's louder.
Danny's tone has got me chill and mellowed out. So Stephen Kotler and conscious flow control is when you do those Wim Hof breathings, you're forcing your body into a conscious state of flow, into a state of flow. And when you understand what the state of flow is, Danny, I think you'll agree with me that like the spiritual aspect is that deepest state of flow you can be in, and you're literally touching God in that moment. And Meshell, the way you're describing it with the presence, ultimate presence in the now, they're not worrying about the future, not thinking about the past. You are here. That's another symptom of this flow that I talk about and I train people on. And that's that godlike spirituality. So yeah, get into some Kotler stuff.
Yeah.
Martine,
give me some Kotler. How do you spell it?
Kotler.
Martine, when we were in the green room, you had mentioned something about a dedication to your practice. And I really wanted to like lob the ball over for you to have a moment to speak about that.
Can I throw those 2 books out? I was going to throw those 2 books out real quick for Meshell.
Yeah, can you type them in the description?
You know what? I tried to, but I don't know if it went. Did you see my chat earlier?
I see your chat earlier. There is no good. There is no bad.
And the live, like on your phone, like use your phone, chat, put them in the live.
I'm not on my phone.
Okay. I'll go back and throw them in.
So the Rise of Superman and Stealing Fire, Meshell. The Rise of Superman,
please.
The Rise of Superman, Stealing Fire. 2 really good books.
The Rise of Superman is one of the best books I've ever read. Like,
say that again.
The Rise of Superman was probably one of the best books I've ever read. Like really, it's like really.
I did read Stealing Fire though, and
then you know.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
You know what's up. Yeah.
So, when I think one of the things for me is when I talk to people about meditating and when I talk about the curiosity theory and I'm working with people, one of the areas that we get into as we get more advanced in the curiosity theory is meditating. And people, I believe, are often trying to create a process, create a practice, do meditation however they can do it. And what I suggest to people is that they create a practice, and in that practice is that you're dedicating that practice to something, whether you're dedicating it to yourself, to somebody, or you can do it to the whole world. You can do it to a dog. You can do it to something you're going through. And the reason I use dedication is because when you dedicate something, you have a choice in you're saying, I choose to do this thing versus I have to meditate. So it's kind of like you become it's a difference between being a victim of what you say you want to do and being a choice in what you say you want to do. That's the way that I distinguish dedication and the curiosity theory. So when I meditate, I choose to dedicate this time for myself. And there are things that we have to dedicate. Human beings only have certain expressions. And in the expressions of human being are time, because that's what we experience that. So we express ourselves in time. We express ourselves in energy, and we express ourselves in our wisdom and our knowledge and the things we can do. So when I'm meditating, I'm expressing myself in a certain period of time. I do 13 minutes. So I set my timer for 13 minutes and I dedicate the 13 minutes to meditation. I dedicate my energy, or maybe sometimes I will dedicate a quality that I want to do. Quality could be curiosity. It could be an intention to maybe reflect on a book I was just reading or a passage of a book I was just reading. And what I'm saying to myself in dedication, Danny, is I'm saying, this is what we're going to do. Like, guys, this is what we're going to do. When I say guys, I'm talking about all the people that just, that want to say something in here, like the little monkeys that want to say something. So I'm saying, guys, this is what we're going to do right now. We're going to dedicate our times to this. And it's actually not even including those. It's like, it's the true self. It's like this person that I recognize when I breathe. Hey, there you are. What we're going to do is we're going to dedicate this next 13 minutes to, it would be today. My dedication was to my son, Diego. He graduated from high school. So it was just my dedication to him and just the pride that I have and how proud I am of him to have gone through what he's gone through as a teenager in this world and to make this milestone. And I was just present. I was just I was just meditating, and I was just with the love, and I started to cry. I just was like, I was in tears.
I want to cry a little too.
I was in absolute tears.
Oh,
You know, I was just like, wow. And I don't. That is to me meditation. That is to dedicate that, and then I and then I'm finished with my meditation. I'm putting my cushion away, and I get a text from him. It's like, that is to me connecting. It's like, I don't know if he felt it or something, but I certainly felt it.
That kind of stuff starts to happen all the time.
Yeah, magic.
You're also bringing my awareness to the whole ritual of it. You know, like you say, your cushion and all that. It's like what I've been doing in these last 4 months is I'll get up, I'll make my coffee, I'll climb back in bed, and I will find like a phrase that is sort of the dedication for today's practice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting it out on Facebook, and I've got a group of people that are meeting me at this time. And so just something to sort of dedicate, it's as easy as listening, or something, just like a little phrase or something. But I love digging through the Book of Awakening, or, holotropic breath work or something to find, or a song, to find just like a word or a phrase. And then I'll put the post out, and then I'll actually get my mat out and the blankets out. And, there's a lot of technology that's involved with the laptop and my boom box and like all the stuff that goes with it. But honestly, I feel such reverence for all the pieces of the ritual. I open my French door, and I put this little thing that holds the door open, and now I can hear the birds, and I get the light just right. I love all of the pieces, of the ritual that are like leading in to the sitting down and the collecting and the breathing and the quiet. It's all so sweet.
It's like taking yourself on a date. It's
Yeah.
like, hey guy, we're gonna go on a date right now, and we're just you and I, and the I that I recognize is the greatest version of myself.
Yeah.
Or that could be the greatest version of myself, or that says there's a great version of yourself. And I say that because there were so many times that I meditated that I felt like shit about myself.
Mm.
Like I was the only thing that got me to like not think, and I'm not the kind of person that would kill myself, but that would remove those thoughts of as a consideration.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As the depression, as the sadness, the worst feeling. And then in that feeling that I would have, there would be a peace in that sadness, or in that, maybe self-hatred or whatever that was going on. Go ahead, Clay.
So I'm going to there's a lot of dots out there. Martine, and the way everybody's talking about dedication, that's very similar to basically saying, why? Why are you going to meditate? Are you going to meditate to get closer to God? Are you going to meditate? I'm reading some comments. Are you going to meditate to get better at dealing with anxiety? Are you going to meditate to get better at dealing with pain in a more natural way? There's so many reasons to meditate. And when you dedicate yourself, and Meshell, the ritualistic aspect of it, Martine, Tara, my girlfriend, my girlfriend has gone into an extreme, what I consider an extreme end of rituals. She uses all kinds of beautiful, amazingly aromatic oils and incense and stuff, and she needs all this very ritualistic stuff. And on the other hand, me, all I need to do is go, okay, wait a second, something's up, let me take a breath, and I'm back here to myself. So there's so many different ways. So the dots are and Danny, this has been amazing, because this is like Danny, you're like a professional motorcycle racer. I put things to motorcycles. So you're like this badass professional motorcycle racer that learned how to be a motorcycle rider when you were like a year old. Your dad put you on a motorcycle, and you've developed all these practices, and you've got all this wisdom. And it's like I can see it and I can almost touch pieces of it as you say a couple things. But then, Meshell, the way you're talking about being in and out of the practice, turning it on and off, I go through that too. I make sure that I can say I meditate every day, and I listen to a guided meditation, or I set a timer or something. I do something, right? But my practices have been more and less robust, longer or shorter. And that's all the growing practice. In other words, if I have this really good hour-long routine that I do, and then 6 months later, I'm only doing 15 minutes a day, well, what's different? I'm becoming aware of how my life is different because of that difference in practice. I might go back to that hour, or I might find something in the middle, or I might put part of it in there. And that, real quick, and we'll wrap that up, Danny, right there. That's the gratitude part, where you know what? I feel like my world has gone to crap because I've stopped meditating. Wait, what does that mean? I'm aware of something that I wasn't aware of 2 years ago. I am thankful that I've learned that, and that's where I point people with prayer. Going back to prayer, and people say, I ask people if they meditate every day, and it's a very, very Christian woman or a very Christian man, and I know that they're like very church going, if you will. And I know they pray all the time. And I'm like, well, wait, do you pray? Yeah. Then you meditate. It's the same thing. The question is how, and that connects to what Danny was saying. Are you complaining? Are you asking for things? Are you begging for help? Or are you saying thank you? Or are you just listening?
Can I jump in a minute?
Yeah,
100% on that.
We're going to wrap up in about 5 minutes. So
yeah, that's right. I just want to say my little. We've spoken a lot about us, but it really isn't about us. I had a beautiful interview with somebody, and he said, "Everything I do is for others, but there are no others." And I love that, because it put everything in perspective. So what I really want to do is ask people who are listening right now. So many of you have commented, and even in the comments, so many of you have commented on what you feel in the quality of my voice. Well, what you feel in the quality of my voice is a result of the practice of meditation, because my voice has become placed and at home in my heart, and you can feel my heart when I speak. There's a resonance with my heart that helps you to feel loved. What I want to invite people to do is, when was the last time you absolutely, unmistakably surrendered into the feeling of falling madly in love with yourself? What would it give you if you could literally have that love affair that we all want? Not with some God outside here, not with some other person that we love sometimes and put down some other times, but with this part of ourselves that is just us, that is yearning, dying for us to feel loved by ourselves. We have the ability to love ourselves in a way that nobody can do it. And when you realize that there's no difference between self and other, that everything I do is for others, but there is no other, falling in love with yourself is falling in love with everybody. And what it does is it literally changes the quality of your voice. It literally changes the resonance in which you speak. It literally turns you from a salesperson into a friend. And all of us want to be friends. All of us want to do what our friends are doing and support. Martine, why am I here today? Because I love you, and you asked me, and you're my friend. And I want to do whatever I can to support you as my friend. And I know you're trying to support me as your friend too. We're not selling anybody anything. We're literally just in our friendship showing up for each other. That's the world I want to live in. A world where, as friends, we come together, pardon the narcissism of this statement, but as pieces like a mosaic. Nobody is vertical and teaching, and no one's helping, and no one's fixing, and no one's changing. We literally just come together as pieces of a mosaic. And in coming together, we become much more beautiful than we are on our own. That's the beauty to me of this conversation, because they're all different pieces, all different ways of doing it. So for those of you who feel I don't meditate because of what, put that aside, slide that to the right for a minute. Try to move that excuse out and just say, how about if I sit for 5 seconds?
5 seconds.
Just 5 seconds.
One breath.
One breath. How about if I sit, God, that felt good. Well, I'll sit another breath. Why not? And what would happen if you just could do that one simple thing?
This is the beauty of this. This is my aunt this is my father's
Carmen
sister. Yeah.
Uh,
Hi, Tia.
That's
the beauty of this. It's the touch. And to be, I'm very grateful. The final practice is gratitude. That's the final practice that I get from Clay. And the more I meditate, the deeper my connection to gratitude shows up. And when I was talking about Diego today, that's what it was. It was gratitude. It had nothing to do with the fact that he graduated from high school. It was so much like, what a joy to be able to love somebody. I don't even know what it was. I cannot put into words what I experienced. I just know that the experience was amazing. And what I had for the experience was gratitude for that experience. And so I usually thank everybody for coming. We're going to finish. We're going to like to close up right now. And I'd like to, I normally would be the person that expresses gratitude, but since I've learned such a deeper practice of gratitude through Clay, what I'm going to ask you to do, Clay, is tell us what gratitude is, how you get to gratitude as a practice, and then how about you close us up with a moment of gratitude? His eyes like, what the heck,
You said 5 minutes.
That's
2
right.
minutes?
No, you got like 2 minutes.
Can I have a week?
That's right. You get 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes.
Martine, I'm really, really glad to hear you reaching that target. Like Meshell, you described the ritual and becoming affixed to the ritual, and you mentioned the accountability of saying you're going to be there, and other people, you need that other people thing to take you there. And I need it too. And I love what Dana, you just said about how we're here for other people. And that's, why we're all here. Like, I love it. It's like, and then you blew my mind when you started talking about we all are one. It's all one. And oh yeah, brother. To bring it back to Martine and the tears that he experienced today, was it, or yesterday? The way that I share and try to help people understand gratitude is this. Look around you. Look at your environment. I see a plant. I see an old water bottle. I see a light, camera, my phone, some reading glasses, a water bottle. Oh, a pen. I love the pen, Martine. A pen. Can you spend 10 minutes journaling about this pen, or a pen of the pen that you're journaling with? Can you spend 10 minutes writing nonstop, explaining why you're so grateful for this pen? Now, people take this different ways. People will go to, this pen allows me to write and it's doing stuff to my body and it's changing how I feel. Or maybe this pen has this unique blue color and I love blue because it reminds me of this. Or this pen has this mechanical device and I know it took a mechanical engineer to design the pen to do this. And then there's other people that go into the factory of where the pen was produced. Or how about the transportation system that took to deliver this pin to wherever I got it, and how I brought this pin home from wherever I was, where I got this pin, all these ways that you can be grateful. There's nothing wrong, but here's the goal. If you can get to the point where the tears are staining the paper because you feel the gratitude so deep, you win. Congratulations. If not, keep practicing until every time you do a gratitude practice for something as silly as a pin, you win. And I think I started with the gratitude. I'm so thankful to meet you, Danny. I can't wait to get to know you more. Meshell, it's been an honor. I love your practice. I love the way that you have to, that you're talking about the French doors. I can just picture these things and the doorstop. I'm so with you on the doorstop. There's these little mundane things I have to do.
Right.
It made me so grateful in that moment when you were describing your practice.
Oh, that's sweet. I just got something from our team saying, I don't
bounced out.
No idea what happened. Thank you all so much. I think it got bounced out. It's not coming back.
So I guess that's it, guys. Namaste. I love you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Spending time with you all.
Big love.
Big love. Big
I'm
love.
gonna sign off. Have a great day, guys. Good night.
How do we get out of here? Leave.
Leave studio.
Hey guys, crazy. I don't know what happened, but the somehow StreamYard or the program I was using just bugged out. So I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us. I want to kind of just finish up what I was saying. So if Clay jumps on, that'd be cool. If not, I learned the practice of gratitude from Clay, and I knew what gratitude was, and we always talk about gratitude. Hey guys, crazy. I don't know what happened, but what I wanted to do is share the kind of like, it's not the way that meditation ends, but it certainly is a really cool way to go back and what I call recovery. To go back and assimilate it so that you do it again. So in the process of flow, there's 4 parts: struggle, release, flow, and recovery. And for me, what I do is I use the recovery process as a celebration to then go back into meditation the next time a lot easier. So when you celebrate something you did, you want to go back and do it again, right? So as I finish my meditation, I apply gratitude to the meditation. And then the next time I meditate, the next time I go to meditate, I'm looking forward to being grateful for the meditation. So to express gratitude for today, what I'm going to do is I will get off the call. I'll get off this call in just a minute. And I'm going to do what I would do when I get off the call. I'm going to do it right now. So take a minute and thank Clay and Danny and Meshell for hanging out with me for an hour, for spending their time and dedicating their time to the curiosity theory, which in turn means we're dedicating the time to you, that you're the viewer, you're watching. And then I want to thank you, be grateful for you, that you would spend even a moment with me, even one breath with me. And I appreciate that. And the goal is to give to you, to give to people that are watching the show, to bring value. And I'm grateful that, for even if it was only for a moment or it was a full hour, that you found a moment to spend with us. And we are all grateful. Meshell, Clay, Danny, and myself are all very grateful. Then I would like for you to go back and friend Meshell, follow Meshell. She does every morning she does a meditation practice in the morning at 8:00, and it's pretty amazing. She does some serious breath work. The vulnerability that she demonstrates and that she shares, that she shows on her class, is pretty amazing. She'll do what they call the breath of life, where you're bringing in all this energy, all this breath, and you're using your diaphragm, and you're just like charging yourself up. Well, she does that, and she talks, she'll get out a Kleenex and say, oh, it comes out of everywhere. And that's the kind of vulnerability that you're going to get with her. And she's so wise, and and if you research her, you'll see that she's connected to some amazing people on this planet. Clay, the same thing. Clay is one of my mentors. I would not have a practice of meditation at the level that I have it if it weren't for Clay. So if you're considering using meditation for your business, to be able to go to that, talk to Clay. He's amazing. Danny, who is like my heart, just a friend that I don't see often enough, but then whenever I see Danny, I see myself. And follow Danny. He wrote a book called what's this book called? It's on the tip of my tongue. What is this book? Danny, what's your book called? Let me tell you about his book really quick. It is about the pieces that we find ourselves in life, and how there's broken pieces, and we come together and then we find our pieces, and we are all part of all these broken pieces that we are a collection of all of our experiences, all the pains, all the good stuff that happens, all the bad stuff that happens. And we are like a mosaic of all those things, all these different pieces that are put together. He wrote a book called The Mosaic, and it is a beautiful book. I've read it twice, and it's one of those books that every time you read it, you get something else, just like my book here. Like the curiosity theory, people say every time they read the book, they get something else out of it. So I want to invite you to connect with Danny, get his book. I want to invite you to get my book, The Curiosity Theory. You can find it on Amazon. I want to invite you to just to connect with all the people that were here on the show today. And I want to thank you for being a part of this show. And next week we're gonna have a pretty cool show. I don't know if you've ever watched the movie The Secret, but we have somebody that was actually in the movie The Secret. It's going to be a part of the show, so it's going to be awesome. So thank you for hanging out, and God bless you. And we'll see you next Tuesday. Take care.